Come on, lad. Stark, you're looking fresh. We're live, by the way. We're live. I swear to God, we're live. Yeah. Can you check? Actually, I'm gonna check if my voice and everything is working properly, my audio and whatnot. Even yourself, I'm gonna check that now. Let's see, round table. I'm gonna check if my voice and everything is working properly. Yeah, it's working now. Actually, yeah. Even yourself, I'm gonna check that now. It's working, bro. We're Gucci. We're Gucci. Okay, then. Let's do this. Hi, Ben. Is that you, Ben? No, someone else. I think that's someone else. Actually, give me 2 seconds. I'm actually gonna get my phone as well. Hold on. Yes, boys. Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me? Are you sure? Uh, you guys are lagging for some reason for me. What's going on, boys? You guys, can you? It's an internet issue. It's not. Yeah, I can't hear them for some reason. Let me just quickly check Discord. Uh, that's interesting. I don't know what's going on. Are you guys good? You sure? I think. Sorry. Checking now, actually. Um, let me. Can you not check it on your phone if you can? Oh, okay. Let me check. All right. I think I know what's wrong. Um, dear. Can they hear you now? Can you speak? Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Let me check. Actually, it's not working now. Let me check again. Let me try the other one. Some audio issue, guys. Apologies. I think is. Let's set game a day. You guys speak?
Saka Replacements.
Yeah, it's working now, bro. Saka Replacements. There you go. Kanji, can you speak? You're muted, Kanji, bro. You muted yourself.
Okay.
You're still.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. All right, now you can start cooking, Kanji, bro.
All right, let's just give it a second, bro. Just 1 second.
Please do let us know if you can hear everyone. I think you can now. On my desktop is saying so. Everyone we can hear each other. So
Nice. Okay. All right. Cool. We are good now. Sorry about that, guys. You guys ready?
oh, let's cook. We're live.
All right. Let's cook. Let's cook. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FPL Roundtable podcast. This is going to be episode 12, preparing for Game Week 18. I can't even believe it's game week 18. I am your host, Kanji FPL. I'm joined by my co-hosts, FPL Cayman and FPL Stark. How you guys doing?
Fantastic, bro. I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Bro, I'm chilling, man. I'm loving life on a massive green arrow, 500K. Like I'm loving it from an FPL perspective. How about you, Stark? How you doing?
Good man, I'm good.
Alright, say
Short and,
less, bro.
short and
But
sweet.
I just have to start off the pod with a quick thank you because I had a massive decision last week. I had Son in my team. I wasn't sure if I should -4 to take Son out because he was playing Liverpool and Spurs were at home. But thankfully, you guys convinced me. You showed me the light. I finally brought Salah into my team. Life feels normal, and he got a massive haul too. And I had the captaincy on there, so thanks so much for that. So
I got
going
to
into
ask
this
you.
week,
I've got to
yeah,
ask
of
you, bro.
course.
How does it feel finally owning your best player, arguably, one of the biggest club legends at Liverpool? How does it feel to finally own him and see him hauling for you? You can
Man,
enjoy watching
honestly,
Liverpool
bro,
again.
every single week I've been betting on him anyway. He's been so consistent, but from an FPL perspective, he's been my number one ranked threat, right? And he's the one that's just unstoppable. You generally can't cover him with anyone else. So he's been killing me. And over the past 5 years, I've always owned Salah, like every game against every other premium in the game, whether it was Kane, whether it was Holland. So it just feels nice. It feels like I'm back to normal. So I'm happy.
If you remember last podcast, I did say if it goes wrong, you can blame it on me. Well, it didn't go wrong, guys. I want all the credits. Bring it on, chat.
For sure, bro. Shout out to K-Man and Stark. You guys are there. So, one of the main talking points that's come up going into this game week that a lot of content creators are going to be talking about, we're faced with a major decision. Kyle Saka has picked up an injury. He's out, according to reports, until the beginning of March. So, he's going to be missing all of the rest of December, January, and February. Likely will probably come back towards the end of February, but I think it's safe to just assume that he's going to come back at the beginning of March. So, what are your initial thoughts on that? Do you think we should look to spread the money of Bukayo Saka, or do you think we should go down to put more money into maybe the striker spot or defender spot, or like what are your guys' just initial thoughts based on the injury?
Mm, go on, K-man.
Yeah, I think it's not a like for like swap or replacement. I think unless you are missing the likes of Palmer or Salah, if you're missing one of those premium assets within your team, then I can understand why it would be a like for like replacement. However, if you already own Palmer and Salah, I think it is not a straight up a swap to a Foden or a Son unless you're confident in their minutes and confident in their fixtures. I mean, Foden has the fixtures slash the minutes, but the form isn't there, to be honest. And City are obviously struggling, so a lot of people will be hesitant to go there. With Son, again, rotation slash minutes risk, coming off early, plus he hasn't been in the best of form himself. And there are other assets within the Spurs team that you could go for that will provide similar value for money. So I think instead, what will happen is people will, I guess, maybe go a bit differential. That's why you guys can see there are so many options we have available. Whether
Mm,
you want to get a cheap asset to upgrade other positions, for example, you have a you have a I don't know, maybe a Jackson and Jao Pedro and a Chris Wood up in front three, but you don't have an Isak. So say for example you have Saka and you want to downgrade him to maybe an Ahmad or even Sa and get some funds released, and then you can upgrade Jao Pedro to Isak. For those people, you're looking at the smaller, cheaper assets like Ahmad, Rogers, Murphy, Sarr. But for those who have like the likes of Isak and Jackson, and whether it's Chris Wood or a I don't know Jao Pedro, and you're happy with them, you can just go to a maybe a mid-price asset like Bruno or an Odegaard, who are obviously a bit more talismanic. They have the minutes and the pens. However, this might also, give an opportunity for those who want to spice things up. Maybe take a risky punt on Diaz, or even Gordon. So there's so many options depending on your risk appetite, depending on your team and structure. What else are you missing? If you need more funds to be released to upgrade Trent or Isak, then you obviously go low of that. Otherwise, I think you could look to go for a bit more, your talismanic assets like Bruno.
what do you think in Stark?
I'm thinking I don't wish injury upon anyone, but I'm so happy that Saka's injured because it's made FPL really fun. Like this,
Basically.
this Christmas chaos is so needed because like we went from such big decisions that were like had a massive variety of teams and multiple different structures were doing well, and it quickly changed into like no Haaland, Salah, Saka, Palmer, and then everything else was pretty much Gabriel, and then not much difference anywhere else really. But now,
Mhm.
people are going to be bringing in Salah. People are probably going to bring in Madison, Martinelli, Ahmad, Rogers, Murphy, Gord. Like, there's so many options. So it's uh, what are we gonna give our? Should we give our like top three?
Yeah, but
No,
before we get there, I guess
yeah,
before we do that, I think I wanted to establish like who are like the premium picks that if you don't own that you should prioritize getting to. Like for me personally, in the striker position, I think Isak is non-negotiable. In the defender spot, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is non-negotiable at this point. Now that we all have money from Saka, and then I think Salah and Palmer, like those would be the ones that I think I would prioritize before anything else. What about you guys?
I agree. I agree, to be honest. And obviously, you can also argue that if you don't have a Gabriel, you also prioritize Gabriel. So yeah,
It's gonna be a lot of hits this week, though.
yeah.
I think
Yeah, like, I mean, when you have somebody like Saka, like you have a lot of money to spend, right? So I think it's a hit that's probably worth it long term anyway. Like Saka's out for a while, so I think if you take a hit this week, I think a majority of managers will take a hit this week unless they have transfers saved. But if you don't, you're basically going to be ahead of the field, right? So you're going to start the game week on a green arrow if you don't take a hit. So,
Yeah, but I don't like that
um,
idea because if there is any week to take a hit, this is the week you're missing an opportunity to take a punt or go a bit different, and I don't think you should pass that opportunity at the same time. So, if, for example, if you wanted to punt on a Luis Diaz, this is a perfect entry point, which is Leicester at home. If you wanted to punt on a Martinelli or a Jesus or whoever, right? They have a Ipswich at
right.
home, so this is a great opportunity to take a hit, which could pay off. Like, you gotta capitalize on those opportunities. This is not the week where you say, "Now let me play passive," in my opinion.
Mhm.
I think
Okay.
this all comes
So,
down to manager styles. So there'll be a lot
mhm,
of managers who want to bring someone in with a longer term perspective, and then I feel like there's a category of players that come under that. They might not be the most exciting. The fixtures might not even be the best, but you're looking at your Bruno, your Odegaard, like those two players, and I think they will definitely be popular. Like for like the more, I feel like they are the right choice on paper to get one of them in, but there are alternatives that
It's a template pick. I'll be honest, though, Stark. I mean, if we're being real, Bruno is
mhm,
the template choice. He has been
yes.
the template from the start of the season, and there are quite a few managers that backed against him and they were rewarded. Now he's become template again. It's a matter of whether do you back against him again and expect the same result to start the season, or do you expect a different result now? So yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, I think with Bruno, it's like if we could go to the next slide with the underlying data for the assets, like Bruno's data is very strong. Like if you look at his minutes per non-penalty expected goal involvement, he's in the middle, but then you also factor in that he's on penalties, so that gives him a leg up against all of the other like competitors. And I think Bruno and Odegaard share something special as well as Son. Like these three are a level above everybody else, in my opinion, because you get 90 minutes, you get the penalties, and you also get the set pieces as well. Like all three of these guys take corners on pens. Like they're just a level above everybody else. But with that being said, I have to be honest. Bruno is the exact type of player I'm happy to bet against because we have the emergence of somebody like Amad Diallo, right? So Amad Diallo is basically the shining light of Man United. Like you just have to understand that at 5.0, if he's nailed for minutes, I just think he's a better value pick than Bruno. And if I can cover Bruno, I'm happy to do it with Ahmad. But in isolation, Bruno has the pens. He has the nailed minutes. There's a chance that Ahmad can get rotated maybe in the Europa League. Minutes are a little bit more questionable, but I'm happy to go against Bruno if I have Ahmad.
I
And
have a
then the next
question on
question to
that.
ask you guys would be if you had like Ahmad already, would you consider going for both?
That's suicide.
no, I wouldn't double up on United.
That is suicide, Kanji. I'm sorry. We are not Chelsea. We're not Liverpool. We're not like City in the mud. I understand, but we're not like no. That's criminal, bro. I think personally, because you're giving up on the so many other good assets that we have available. I mean, if I just go back on this chart, like pretty much every single one of these assets are, I guess, like valuable. and you're going to miss out on pretty much what? A Kulusevski or a Sa or a Rodgers for their good run of fixtures. Even though we have like quite a tough run, if I'm being honest, like other than Wolves, like the next two is difficult. Newcastle is not easy, Liverpool is not easy, and you're gonna have two of the United players there. I'm not a fan of that actually. Although the
Yeah,
template would suggest to go there, but I wouldn't.
yeah, like the thing with Bruno's fixtures is that like longer term they're actually really nice for Man United, right? You have like Spurs coming up, you have Leicester coming up. I think you have Southampton as well coming up for Manchester United. So the fixtures coming up for Man U are so good. That's why a lot of people are considering going there. It's I think one thing to really keep in mind. I know this is just like a little bit far ahead. Can you skip to the graphic about the chip strategy? So, like, we put together some thoughts about like just keeping in mind that when you make a replacement, it's just important to understand like where are the doubles and where are the blanks coming in. And so at this moment in time, we're expecting Liverpool and Everton to have the double in 24 or 25. Now, there was some news from Ben Crellin, I think, as well as Tala Nadim. These are the types of managers on Twitter that are looking at TV schedules, and they're recommending that 24 is actually less likely to double, and it's actually more so likely to be in 25 because of some of the other fixture scheduling. So it's just something to really keep in mind if any of you guys are applying any of your chip strategy. Just try to prioritize the 25 double game week now, I think, going forward. And if you bring in a replacement, keep in mind like the teams that are advancing in the semifinal and going into the final of the EFL Cup, they're going to blank in game week 29. So, for example, Arsenal are playing against Newcastle. If you think that Arsenal are going to beat Newcastle in the FA Cup, that means that Arsenal and Chelsea in game week 29 would blank. And maybe if you already have Palmer and you have Enzo and you already have Gabriel or you have Raya, that means they're all going to blank in that week, and Jackson included as well. And if you bring in another Arsenal player, whether that's a Martinelli or Jesus, they're also going to blank in that week. So the question to ask yourself is, are you going to consider free hitting in this week? The next thing is going to be like, would you potentially look to bring in somebody that's good longer term? So that way you can save your transfers and then you can just get rid of all your Arsenal and Chelsea, your Liverpool players. So that way you'll have enough players in the blank week, right? So just something to really keep in mind, right? When you're thinking about your transfers.
Just
So
on that, I understand that there is a potential for blank for game week 29, but there is like still quite a time away. You're looking at 7 weeks. Not even 7, like it's a long time away, 12 weeks away, like almost. Like you're going to miss out on so many good fixtures just because you're thinking about blank 29. I don't think that's optimal to look at it like that because right now there is an opportunity, for example, with Saka being out, to take a punt on the likes of Jesus, Martinelli, Odegaard, whoever you like. And if you're afraid of triple up because there's a potential black in 29, then that's, I think, overthinking.
Yeah, I'm with you there too, for sure. I think like you just sort of make your bet, pick the player that you like, and then move forward, right? So if we just going back to what Stark was mentioning earlier, it's like, hey man, do you agree that you think like Odegaard, Son, and Bruno are like the top picks that you'd be considering, or would you consider going a little bit more differential in that spot?
No, just because a pick is template doesn't mean they're the most optimal pick. It depends on how you look at the game and based on what we've seen so far. Obviously, Bruno does seem to have the most upside, and he has returned in the last couple of weeks. But for managers like myself, I mean, I guess I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for Stock. I have backed against Bruno the whole season, and I think I'll continue to do that. So continue to do so, whether it's agenda based or not. Is I would rather basically back against Bruno than back against a Palmer or a Salah or a Saka. And if I don't back against any template picks, then I'm just gonna be always like, how do you? You're not playing to win really. You're just going for the next best template pick. And I think if there's anyone to back against, it's probably Bruno slash Odegaard.
there is one. Obviously, when I was, we're all most of us probably own Saka, so this is a critical decision to make. When I was looking at because I've made my decision, I don't want to spoil it. But when I was looking at making my decision, Bruno was definitely up there because in game week 21 he plays Southampton, and I believe Salah plays Nottingham Forest away, and Palmer plays Bournemouth at home. So, like, of course, you could captain Palmer against Bournemouth, and the way Salah's playing, you could definitely captain him against Forest away. But I believe in Forest will try and make the game as difficult as possible, as opposed to Tottenham, who just completely, bend over, leg spread. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so entertaining. And just look what Salah did in that game. Like, it was ridiculous. He could have scored more, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
you said
Bruno
plays
in
who was at
21,
home.
Bruno in game week 21, it does give you like a solid captaincy shout if you're stuck fixture wise.
Would you say over Isak though? Isak is Wolves at home, and Newcastle is a different beast at home compared to like United. We just got whitewashed by Bournemouth at home.
Wolves are switching to a back five though, aren't they? I can just see them. I just want to.
That's,
I don't want to tie them into Gary O'Neill Wolves. They might change. They might be more.
Mhm.
They might just play more solid defensively. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
And then Bruno in there was another fixture as well. Bruno against Southampton. I mean against Tottenham, game week 25. Like the immediate fixtures aren't good, but long term it's good. But I would definitely not go there if I had Ahmad. I would not double up. No chance.
Yeah, same. I mean, you gotta think about it like this. Like, Man U have only scored what, like, I think it was like 21 goals in 17 games. Like, that's less than 2 goals a game. Like, it's horrible. Like, it really is. So I can't really back people that are want to double up. I get the fixtures are there, and there's been like a bounce since the new manager came in. But I think just looking at K-Man, talking to my other Man United friends as well, it just doesn't really make sense to me. So because of that, I already have Ahmad in my team. So that just sort of takes Bruno off the table, and he's probably going to be the highest owned. So it's like that sort of just leaves me available to Son, Odegaard, and Foden. Now, these were the three options that I was considering personally because I look at the rest of my squad. I have the other picks. Like I have Isak, I have Trent, I have Gabriel, I have Raya, I have Salah, I have Palmer. Like I have everybody else. So I don't really need anything. I don't really feel any sort of urgency towards anyone else. But it's that midfield spot, and I'm really happy to like take my punt and go expensive. So Son and Odegaard are the ones that I like because they're on penalties and the minutes are more nailed. But Son is the one that I just like. I love Son. Okay, he's an extra overperformer. He's a better finisher than Holland. The only person that's close to him in world football is actually Messi. Like that's how good Son is in terms of his finishing. His underlying data is better than all of the other midfielders as well. So like he is and should be the number one option. The reason people aren't going there is because Postecoglou has a problem. Like he is trying to win a trophy this season, and he won't be able to win the Premier League. So he has to focus and put his attention to the Europa League as well as in the Cup. So I just don't know if we will be able to get Son to play 90 minutes every single game. And that's the reason I think I'm a little bit colder on him. That's why I haven't been able to do as well when I was without Salah because I couldn't get as many points from Son as I wanted. Do you guys agree with that or no?
I think it's crazy because I think Son is probably the most like for like swap with Saka in terms of like just like for likeness. He's on pens, not as not as talismanic because the goal share is quite well spread and they score so many. But like his minutes are definitely not. His minutes are an issue, and just the current injuries and the schedule. That's why I would just rather, I've got Kulusevski. I'd rather just pay a bit less. He's playing 90 pretty much every week. He's very versatile, and he's balling out. So save a bit of money, go Kulu is what I would recommend for going for Tottenham. But Tottenham assets are so slept on. It is
Yeah, they're
crazy.
very disrespected. Like even Solanke as well. Like recently, he's picked up a return in like every game. I didn't expect him to do much against Liverpool, but they still scored 3 goals. I think that makes it 3 goals in 3 games in a row. That's madness. I think they have the most goals in the Premier League, which sounds crazy because it's Spurs. And usually we're like, yo, Spurs are Spursy, but their attack is actually pretty reliable. They don't consistently score the goals. It's usually like it comes like 5 goals in one game, 1 goal in the next game, and they'll lose it. So it's like that's why they get the idea that Spurs are Spursy, but you can actually trust their attack longer term as long as you're not captaining them or anything like that.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's all about managerial preferences and how you play. I'm heavily fixtures based, so I was looking at which assets has good fixtures. So I'd say obviously Man City in the next like 5 or 6, probably number one. And Arsenal, I think their fixtures are phenomenal. I think the fixtures coming up for Arsenal are better than the ones they've just had. So obviously Everton, Fulham, they make it difficult, and the numbers like Everton 5 clean sheets in the last 6. Fulham probably top 5 underlying data for XGC. So and now they've got Ipswich at home, Brentford away, Brighton, Tottenham, Villa, all teams that they're not afraid to go. They don't sit back with 5 defenders. So I wanted to bring an Arsenal player in, and for me it was between Odegaard, Martinelli, and Jesus.
Mhm.
And amongst all three, Obviously, I think Odegaard's definitely the safe pick. Minutes. He's going to be taking the set pieces. He took 2 corners in the last game when Saka went off, and Gabriel hit the bar from a header. So like that threat's there, and we all know how good they are. But Martinelli, I think systematically will see a lot of joy in behind, like Brentford away, Brighton, Tottenham, Villa. Like I can see him doing well matchup wise. But then Jesus, the negative to Jesus is he a long term pick and is he a transfer out waiting to happen? And we want to save transfers with the AM chip, especially if you want to play it in game week 24. However, I think there's actually potential he could be if he plays well. And ultimately, you bring a player in to do well. So if he's not performing, you just sell him out. You sell him. But if he does do well, he could look like a steal. He's very versatile. Can play on the wing. Can play up front. Like he could have scored a hat trick again if he's getting those chances. And it also solves the JP headache. If you've got Joao Pedro and you're sick and tired of him getting 2 points, Jesus, like we're not short on money. Jesus is the easy, like short-term answer. A lot of Boxing Day fun, great fixtures. What do you think, K-Man, on Jesus?
Yeah, I was seriously considering I was actually almost 90% on Chris Wood for JP, and Saka injury actually, blessed me with that opportunity to bring back Chris Wood, who's been really, giving me great service this season. Now, seeing Arsenal's fixture and seeing Jesus' form, like 5 goals in 2 games, and he's a bit of a streaky player. Like he does have these purple patches. I was talking to one of my friends actually, and we were thinking, look, like this is the time where Arsenal fixtures are gonna be, for attackers, not for really for defenders. So this is when we
Yeah.
might want to maybe get a double Arsenal attack if Saka was still available. However, knowing that now Saka is not available, it seems that once he went off, the beneficiary of that attack was Martinelli as well as Jesus. And if you can't get to Martinelli, or if you have like another midfield spot that's already occupied, which for me I already made the move and I don't have a space right now for Martinelli, I do look to maybe get Jesus because I don't want to miss out on Arsenal attack for this run. It's honestly I don't see a single fixture from game week 18 to game week 26. Not a single fixture that comes to me and says that's a great defense. None at all. Even Villa at home, I can see Villa conceding 2 or 3. So it's so tempting, and I'm in a very very big dilemma between Chris Wood and Jesus this week for a hit to take out JP, and my heart says it's Chris Wood, but my mind says like on paper, if I'm looking at the fixtures as well as Jesus' form, I might be tempted to go towards Jesus, considering he's got a very good entry point in Ipswich. So does Chris Wood with Tottenham, but after that, Chris Wood does play Everton away, and we've seen just kept 5 clean sheets in the last 8 games or something like that. So that's not a good fixture anymore. And then Wolves, the new manager, away. Okay, that's a good fixture. But then Liverpool at home is not great. But then after that, obviously the fixtures are a bit of a mixed bag between Southampton and then Bournemouth, Brighton, and Fulham. Like good, bad, good, bad. So on paper, like Jesus does have the better fixtures, and he does seem to pick up form. But Chris Wood is also a long-term haul who will just take along. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
it's
That's the thing. It's
basically
like you
yeah,
know what you get. It's like Chris Wood is like he's Mr. Reliable, right?
yeah,
Like you know exactly what you're gonna get from him. He's a little bit boring.
yeah.
Jesus definitely is more spicy, bro.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's
And
upside chasing. Yeah,
yeah, but I think the idea is right. It's about that Arsenal attacker. Like that is where when we're looking at the fixtures, like I
yeah.
can't read them. Kman, do you mind just reading the fixtures out for the Arsenal ones?
Yes, so they have Ipswich at home, Brentford away, Brighton away, Tottenham at home, Villa at home, Wolves away, Man City at home, Leicester away, West Ham at home. That's their good run.
That's insane. Like that basically to me, those are basically all the bottom half defenses in the league.
And
Like
do you know what's
genuinely,
interesting,
those
by
are
the way?
all
Do you know what's
mostly
interesting,
bottom half defenses.
Kanji? And Saka is expected to be back on end of March. And for this 8 game weeks, bro, let me see how many game weeks is that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 10 game weeks basically. You get to have Jesus, where most likely he's going to start because he can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play as a false nine. Like, he can play in all positions. Like unless you
Mhm.
start to drop stinkers after stinkers, like he has to play. Like who else are they gonna play?
They've got Nwaneri, the kid who
Yeah,
can play
Mm.
right wing or 10. They've also got Odegaard, Trossard. Sterling's injured as well. So I definitely think at least to the end of this year, Jesus with his form, like Saka, Sterling now. Like he's merited the start. So if he fucks it up, that's on him. But
Yeah,
the floor is there for him. The fixtures are there for him. So
yeah.
I'm very much in the Jesus camp.
Even over to Chris Wood though. That's the thing.
I've got Chris Wood, man. Come on.
Yeah. Now, if
You
you were
don't.
to be in a dilemma between the two this week, for example, it's tough.
Mhm. Very, very difficult. Chris Wood's the safe option.
Yeah, honestly, it is. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think like we all agree though, covering or getting a piece of like a differential Arsenal attacker is a really good way to like go against Bruno Fernandes, right?
Or an Odegaard, right?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, basically, like I think you have to put an Arsenal attacker in your team because when you look at the fixtures, they scream goals. So all of us are thinking the same thing, whether it's an Odegaard, a Martinelli, or Jesus. Like I think you got to bring one of these guys in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you need one of the Arsenal attackers, I think. Now, for me in the midfield, I'd go with Martinelli over Odegaard. I just think he's going to benefit more in that attack. He's going to be more like a focal point for maybe getting goals. Like it's either Martinelli or Jesus getting in the goals. Like now that Saka's not here. I think Havertz might suffer though, because I do remember that Saka and Havertz had a good link up. But whereas Martinelli and Jesus have a great link up, I think they're gonna really help one another. I think those two are gonna cook.
Yeah,
Do you think
yeah,
they approached the
Martinelli is
game?
gonna.
Obviously we've seen Arsenal without Saka before, and they struggled big time.
Yeah,
Like, do you think there's a case where they might struggle? They might play more conservative and just go for 1-0 wins, like shithousery. Like that is, we're
that's
kind
the
of
fear.
neglecting possibility.
That's the fear, man. That is the fear. Unfortunately, now that's what worries me. And
I
when I'm
just don't
talking to
see that.
Arsenal fans,
I
they're not
don't.
so confident, man.
I don't really see that with the fixtures though. Like you can't really go to like Brighton and Spurs and Villa and like park the bus. Like those are the types of games I just expect goals in. So I think the fixtures sort of dictate it more so than I think Arteta's tactics. Like at least that's my opinion.
They
So
definitely
I guess
won't be
moving
as
on
good.
from
Just quickly, they won't be as good without Saka. Like if you look
oh
at
yeah,
their
of course.
XG from open play, anyways, it was just 2 weeks ago we were looking at how bad it is. Like 1 week, it can't change that too much. But I would not, for one. All I'm saying is I definitely want Arsenal attack. The fixture play is there, but will I be surprised if they struggle without Saka? No, I won't.
Yeah, that's very fair. So I'll just like little spoiler alert. So I already did sell Bukayo Saka and I brought in Martin Odegaard. The reason I did it is because I look at it like Bruno, Odegaard, and Son were like my top priority picks, and I already had Son, and I know what it's like because I don't trust the minutes now, so I'm not going to go there myself. I prefer Kulusevski. That's why I really like Stark's team. And then it was between it was between Bruno and Odegaard, and I looked at my team and I just felt sick every time I put Bruno in there. I can't go with a double menu attack. So to me, I was sort of put into a like a little pigeonhole where I think I have to go to Odegaard. If it doesn't really work out, I always have the money to upgrade to Son. So that's the way that I'm thinking. And I didn't even consider like a Phil Foden personally, though I do have to say, not only is Phil Foden a really good differential pick, so is Erling Haaland. Like there's a genuine opportunity to move to the template. Now I'm sure there are going to be maybe one in like 100 managers that have bet against Bukayo Saka because we've mentioned this like for the last 3 or 4 podcasts. If there is a premium to bet against, it's Bukayo. And like if you have a Salah and you have a Palmer, I'm sure there are some people out there like late riser from FPL Wired that has an early Holland alongside those three. So you guys must be seeing really nice. So would you guys consider moving to a Phil Foden or an Erling Holland for the fixtures, even though Man City's form is not good?
Spoiler alert:
mm.
Foden is my pick. So yeah, I would. Yeah, but I wouldn't go for Haaland.
So why Foden though? Like, what is it that you see from him that makes you want to go there?
I've watched him closely. I've been listen before Saka was even injured. I was talking about Foden. Everyone knows that. So I've been watching him very closely, and I think um, I'll focus on Aston Villa. He had 6 shots, and I'd say he earned his return in that game. Yeah, it was a fortunate goal, but I think he earned a return in that game. I think he's very selfish. He was in the positions you love to see him, constantly shooting. And I think a key thing for me is when Savio and Doku came on in the latter stage of the game, I felt there was a bit of shift in energy. Like they all of a sudden stopped looking like a granddad team and actually started looking like a Premier League team again. There was a bit of legs.
Mm.
And I think I'm seeing glimpses of Foden where, like, Foden has to pass the eye test for me in order to bring him in. City aren't passing the eye test, but I think Foden is showing glimpses that there's something there with those fixtures. So I don't want to neglect Man City with that fixture run. I'm not willing to go get Haaland because I feel like you have to sacrifice Isak or a lot in midfield, and I'm not willing to do that. Whereas Foden's just a straight downgrade from Saka.
I think I'm on what's similar to what Stock is on, but I have not made the move for Foden. I've actually did my transfer, and spoiler alert as well, since we're already talking about it. I mean, I've brought in Ahmad for Saka, and I've got Isak for Cunha.
Nice,
My
nice, nice. So you're so
yeah,
you're in those like the camp of like you were missing like one of those like premium picks that you just had to get to. So you took care of that first. Smart.
yeah. Number one, I had to get a premium asset that I was missing, and number two, I wasn't sure on which other premium slash sub premium asset I wanted, whether if I wanted a Diaz or a, I don't know, Son, Foden, whoever, right? I wasn't sure who to go at this game week, so I'm going to wait next game week to make a, I guess, better assessment. So for example, if I go with a, I don't know, a say for example a Chris Wood this week, right? And say Odegaard balls out versus Ipswich, he looks really good. Then I won't take a punt in Foden. I'll just get Odegaard in, and then I have Arsenal attack covered. So I could
Mm.
opt to do that. However, if I go with the Jesus, I'm not touching Odegaard regardless how great he looks. I'll look to bring in
Mm.
Foden. So there's a lot depends on the route I take. It will be either one of a my punt will be either on one of a Foden or maybe on one of the maybe Liverpool assets, but I highly doubt it.
Mm.
I'm like
Nice.
90% convinced on Foden though, 90% almost there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah,
Like the fixture play for Man City is right in front of you. Like you have Leicester, you have West Ham, Brentford,
yeah.
and Ipswich. I know Man City are not playing well, but I expect them to score at least 10 goals in the next, like, in those four games. I mean, I know right now the entry point is Everton, and Everton have been pretty solid defensively. So I think you don't really need to go to Foden this week. If you have the ability to like wait a week and move to Foden next week after like a good performance, or maybe even something like that this week, I think that's probably the right move. But if you go early on the fixtures, you're never gonna miss the haul, right, Stark?
Yeah, exactly. And Foden, like, he's the kind of player that would get a return. I would back Foden ahead of Haaland versus Everton, just the way they play. Like he's going to be on the in and around the edge of the box, shooting from long range. Haaland's going to be in the box with Brentford and Tarkowski, like battling for his life. And for me, Haaland he's not passed the eye test at all. That guy has zero impact on any football game unless the ball's put on a platter to him. Like, and he's so expensive, and you have to change your structure dramatically. I know Saka's out long term, but there's still Son, and like when the schedule's not as hectic, you never know. Son could be an option. Like Bruno, when the fixtures are good, like I feel like there are still decent assets, but Haaland's like I don't want to shit on him too much, but before Saka's injury, no one was even contemplating them, right? Realistically,
Mhm.
No, there weren't. No.
even his data, he's not passing like the eye test, so therefore his underlying data must be pretty bad, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Would you consider like Holland in the Foden area as like a punt, or do you think like Holland is a tier above that?
I would put any City asset right now as a punt because the way they're playing is very poor. What have they lost, like 11 games in the last like 13 or something? The
Yeah.
only game
Yeah,
they
but I
won,
mean fixtures breed form though. That's the thing. Right, so like
100%.
we've looked at, for example, we looked at Cunha and he was very whatever in the first like 6 or 7 games, and then he was just bagging in every single easy game. Right, he had like I think 8 returns in 8 easy fixtures in a row. Like, don't you expect Man City to have a bounce back and do the same? And if they're scoring goals, wouldn't Holland be the mouthpiece, right?
I expect him to get chances, but um, don't you think it's a bit concerning that KDB didn't play any minutes? Because I feel like Foden can get points without anyone. It doesn't matter who's on the pitch. Whereas Haaland, I feel like for him to justify his price point, you want KDB starting. Do you not agree?
Yes, I agree absolutely. I think you need KDB because he's going to sprint feed him. Others are looking for their own shot. We saw what Foden did versus Villa. He was just looking for his own shot. He took like six something shots. So are the wingers. Um, if there's any player to basically, I guess, excel Haaland is KDB in that team.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't think Foden is actually like creating chances for Holland. Whenever I look at Foden play, he's looking to like be selfish
I've
himself.
always said
That's
this
what I've
to
noticed
Kanji.
about
I've
him.
said this from the very day one. Foden is in it for himself. He's not looking for Haaland. That's the last thing on his mind, and that is the reason why Pep sometimes benches him. And I'm afraid of that because Haaland is in a struggle and is in a slump. If Foden keeps doing this, then what's to say that Pep won't bench Foden? And I worry about that. And that's why I don't want to commit to Foden this week. I want to take my time and maybe commit to it next week. So maybe I might. What do you guys think of this? Do you guys think of instead of taking a punt on Foden, just take a punt on maybe a Martinelli instead, and get a Chris Wood in this week? And that way I cover Arsenal attack. I mean, I could just watch the game and decide whether if I want Odegaard or Martinelli next week.
You're gonna miss the Ipswich fixture though.
Yeah, but they still have great fixtures coming up, and
Yeah,
I
no,
have
they do.
yeah, but I still
They
have
do.
like a Mbemo for Brighton away, which I think is a very good asset to have.
Like that 1 week of information will be very important because
Exactly. Yeah.
you'll get an insight into how they'll. Like we only got what, like 70 minutes
Yeah.
uh into how they'll play without Saka. He could come up
Yeah.
with something completely different. Uh, so yeah, the information could be very important, but you could kind of do your analysis and get ahead of the curve and get Ipswich as well.
That's the thing, and that's why Jesus is so tempting to me. Um. Anyways, we'll get to my team afterwards. I wanted to basically kind of summarize this by the way, because there's a lot of questions about who's the best Saka replacement. I'll just give
Yeah, we
my
didn't even
rundown.
honestly like we didn't even touch on like probably the two best dice rolls in the game, which are gonna be like Luis Diaz and Diego Jota, right?
Yeah, I'm about to touch on them now. So and you guys can touch on those as well. So we're gonna do one at a time. You guys can see the three brackets, right? The first one is the premium bracket. Odegaard is 8 million, I guess somewhat premium, but not on the same level as Son and Foden in terms of price. He will probably fall within the Bruno bracket. But however, if I was to rate it from bracket one, which is Son, Foden, Odegaard, Odegaard is a safe option. So Son is a safe option. Not even safe actually. That's I'll probably say Odegaard one, Son two, and Foden is a punt straight up. In the second bracket, I'll probably go Bruno, Gordon, and then Diaz. And then for the third bracket with Martinelli, I would go Martinelli, Kulu, and Saw. And last bracket, I'll probably have Ahmad one, Rogers two, and Murphy third. If
It's like all the graphics are sort of put
I
in
know,
like the
yeah,
way that
it's
you
not, I
thought
know,
of
I know. Sorry,
here.
sorry. I know, I'm sorry. I know it's falling like that. Apologies, guys. Apologies. That's
All
how I
good,
rank
bro.
it.
Makes
But
sense
just
though.
just to just to touch on Jota and Diaz, the reason I don't have Jota because I'm putting Jota and Diaz in the same bracket. My biggest reason why I'm not big fan of that move is because we've already seen this movie play out this season before. We've owned Jota as to start the season. We've owned Diaz to start the season, and Jota had that purple patch. Sorry, Diaz had that purple patch, and then he started to get rotated. Like even though he was on form, Gakpo would still bench him because he's in competition with Gakpo. So that's the number one reason why I'm avoiding that. During this busy Christmas period and in early January when there's midweek fixtures and they're going to play Champion League, EFL Cup. There's too many games to be played for Liverpool for me to go there. It's a big risk. It's a big gamble for me. So
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but you can caveat this with so far in this season, even though these guys have been benched here and there, Luis Diaz is still averaging 5.4 FPL points per match, not even per start, that's per match. And Diego Jota is averaging 4.9 FPL points per match. So whether they're starting or coming off the bench, they're still giving you 5 points a game. Like it's hard to say like going for a Liverpool asset is bad, even though the minutes are questionable. They can still score goals. I mean, look at what they did last week. They scored 6 goals. Like that type of thing is what I expect in the Leicester game alone. Like I expect 4 goals going into this week, even though we're at home. And it's like it's a great entry point to an incredible run. You have a double game week in 24, most likely 25 now as well. So you're just sort of buying something that I think is like a little bit risky, but it might be worth the reward. And you can't say Liverpool picks are bad. They're just a little bit risky.
no, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it's a very big risk. Like I have my doubts about the minutes. Plus, I'm also looking to maybe play the AM chip in 25 or 24. So I'm not sure if I want to commit there. It is quite around the corner, like 5 to 6 game weeks
Yeah.
away. So I'm not
So
sure if I want to commit
before
too
like I'll
early.
touch on like the AM chip.
Yeah,
But you had to pick between Diaz and Jota. Like, which one would you guys prioritize if you wanted to bring one Liverpool differential attacker in your team?
Jota for me, he's got less competition, and his competition is useless. To be fair,
I don't know, man.
What do you think, Stark?
I don't know. I just don't have no interest in the third Liverpool attacker, bro. I've got zero interest.
Wow, that's
Same as
crazy, bro.
same as same as Gordon and Murphy. I've got zero interest in doubling up on Newcastle. I've got Isak. I'm happy with Isak. I don't have an Arsenal attacker. Their fixtures are amazing. I don't have a City attacker. Their fixtures are amazing. I'm hedging my bets. I'm playing the fixtures. I don't want to double up on Newcastle and Liverpool. Like especially not Liverpool. There's no way
It's just this
one
period start that worries me. This busy period, right?
was like it's just not for me. It's either for you or it isn't, and it's not for me personally.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty fair. But if I had to pick one, I think I've talked to FPL Kratos as well as Charlie, which is FPL Meerkat. I usually go to those two as like the be all and end all of Liverpool because Charlie does his like predicted lineups, and Kratos is just a long standing member of the FPL community, so he has seen so much. So I go to those two, and we've talked about this, and we actually decided on Diaz being better than Jota, even though the difference between Jota and Darwin is very big, and the difference between Diaz and Gakpo is very small. It's the fact that Diaz just has that direct goal threat. All of the big chances that Salah is coming back onto his left foot, passing to the far post, it's always to the left winger. Like this isn't just a first like this year thing. This has happened for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Like in like last season, I watched one of my friends. His name is Ali from ALS Good on Twitter, and he just went for Luis Diaz and he held him all season and he finished in the top 100K. And like it's just like Diaz is a really good pick. So and he's just a baller. Like this, if you ask any Liverpool fan and you ask them like who would you prioritize between Diaz and Jota, they're gonna pick Diaz because he's just in form. Like he is so hot. This is his breakout season. Like we've seen the potential Diaz has had, but he never reached it. Like his finishing was just never there. But this is the first time where I'm like, okay, this guy is gonna take us to win the league if he continues this form. So I back Liverpool, and if I had to pick one, I pick Diaz personally.
Well, you
You
made
guys
a
agree
very
with
good
that?
case. Listen, I'm not looking at Liverpool. I just think
Okay, cool.
I want to have a peace of mind when I'm going to a game week. I don't want to look at the team sheet and be stressed out because my player is not playing. And the problem with the guy likes of Luis Diaz and Jota is one thing I know for sure is if they don't start, they're going to come off the bench for a cameo, and that's literally a point booked in, and that's quite a bit of money to invest there, for maybe a potential haul every 3 4 weeks. Whereas I could get an asset such as a Kulusevski or maybe a Rogers or an Ahmad who will just tick along. I didn't mean to, like, I know what you guys are gonna say now. You're comparing Diaz and Jota to an Ahmad and Rogers. Might be disrespectful, but with all due respect, those guys do have the minutes, and your Diaz and your Jota does not have the minutes and the guaranteed starts. So that is my issue with it. I just think if you're in the bracket of, like, if you're missing a Trent, you prioritize that. You sell Saka to an Ahmad, Rogers, whoever you like, whichever enabler, whether it be a Sar, Kulu, and then you bring in Trent and you just have Trent and Salah for now. Unless one of the Gakpo or Diaz or like Darwin, one of them gets injured, then you maybe look to bring a third Liverpool attacker. So that's where I'm at right now. In terms of like for like
And
replacement,
then
as we said, there is not any clear standout like for like replacements.
yeah,
The closest one that will come
Th-
maybe is Odegaard and Bruno, and maybe Son, but
yeah,
Son doesn't have the greatest of fixtures and form. So
yeah. Would you guys say that somebody like Anthony Gordon is a better pick than Luis Diaz or Diego Jota? Like Gordon is genuinely one of the most slept on differentials. Like I know when you look at the Spurs fixtures, they don't look that great because you have the entry. And when you look at Newcastle's fixtures, they don't look that great because you have Aston Villa, you got Man United and Spurs. But those are good fixtures to hit teams in transition. And I don't really rate Man United defensively or Tottenham. And then you've got Wolves there, you've got Southampton on the horizon, you've got Bournemouth as well, which is like a pressing team. So I think Gordon could be a really good pick. I mean, just a season ago, he picked up what I think he had 11 goals and 16 assists, something like that last season. And that was really good. And even this season, he has 7 returns from 9 XGI. So he's underperformed this season. So I think there is some positive regression to the mean. And he's just somebody to consider as well. And his minutes are more nailed than Diaz and Jota, right?
I'll be honest, I prefer Murphy over Gordon because Murphy is just way too direct, mate. He seems to be more hungry. It's just that he doesn't have the minutes. Like Murphy, in every attack, he's running behind. Like you're forced to pass to him. It seems the bulk of the chances are falling to Murphy and your Isaks. Gordon has not been a goal threat, mate. He's been an assist threat. I'm not saying it's a bad pickup, but it just seems like he's kind of taken a backseat role this season, like where he's been creating rather than finishing, or you know.
I don't
But
know. I think it was a goal threat though. He
sorry,
missed a sitter in the last game. He missed an absolute sitter, bro. Like it was 4 yards
yeah,
out.
yeah.
That was a massive chance. And then, what game was it where the keeper made a mistake and he should have scored, and the keeper saved? What game was that? I can't remember, but it was like a few weeks ago. But yeah, I think Gordon is a good pick in isolation. I just don't want to double up on Newcastle.
Yeah, that's fair. Basically, like Stark, I think we think very similarly in a way of like that talisman theory, where it's like I want to just knock out as many talismans as I can of different teams. So like if I can get like an Arsenal talisman, a Chelsea talisman, Liverpool talisman, Newcastle talisman, that way I can cover my bases in case any of the big teams go big and they score 5 goals. At least I have like a slice of that sort of performance on the weekend. So I think we're thinking similarly. And K-Man, we've talked about this before, so we're all sort of on the same page now. So of these picks, can we just prioritize the top three? Just not in each section, just overall. If you had to pick 3 picks,
It's hard, man. It's hard. Overall, it's hard. It just depends on who else are you missing. You know, what does that money enable you? I'm just gonna keep going back to that. If you don't have Trent and Isaacs and those guys, even Jackson to an extent, you prioritize bringing those guys. Like they're gonna give you points. In terms of, I think we've already run through it quite a few times, but it's important. The safe options are Bruno's, the Odegaards of the world, and Bruno of the world. Like these guys have the minutes and the pens and whatnot. The punty options is depending on your risk appetite, depending on your squad and your structure. Honestly, this is one of the scenario where I think you have to play your game and you have to hedge your bets. I think honestly, I can't or anyone, no
dude,
one can
just
tell
just
you.
came in. You gotta give me a 1, 2, 3, bro. Like, you gotta
It's
prioritize it for
difficult,
the
bro,
odds.
because this is it's so difficult. I know I never sit on the fence, but this is one of the times I
I know
think
you
where
never sit on the. You're
I
always
never
so
sit on the fence,
opinionated.
bro.
I'm
But
surprised.
this is one of the times I have to sit on the fence because my Saka replacement was Ahmad, and people are gonna call me crazy, right? But you know what I mean. So I think a punt. I'll give it like this, right? A punt for me, the best punt is either Foden or Martinelli for me.
Yeah,
In the midfield for Saka, if you want it to be risky and punt. Safe is just boring. Bruno or Odegaard or Son. I mean, that's the
makes
best I could
sense.
do, bro.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think, Stark? If you had to like rank, like give me like 2 punts and then like rank like top three otherwise.
So I'll give my rankings, and I'll actually
Okay.
just be objective because I've made my move. So number one, I had Foden because that's the move I made. So to me, I just thought, yeah, we'll go with Foden. Number two, I think that uh, Bruno. If you don't have Ahmad, Bruno is definitely up there. Game week 21 versus Southampton, like, and let's be honest, they created a lot of chances versus Bournemouth. So a bit unfortunate to get a return. It's a good long term move. Um, and then Odegaard. If I didn't have Kulusevski, I'd probably just go Son.
Yeah. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So just coming back to my rankings, I put Bruno number one. But if you have Ahmad, then Bruno is just not a pick. So then I just get rid of him, and I would put Odegaard number one, Son number two, and then that's where I don't really have any other alternatives in my opinion. But if I had to rank my punts, I think Luis Diaz number one and Foden number two. So that's just the way that I would put it myself. But yeah, it's really up to you, and it's making sure that you're able to get to the Isak up top, Trent in defense, Gabriel in defense, Salah and Palmer. As long as you have those guys, then you can have some fun and go to the premiums. If you don't have those guys, then buy a cheap enough midfielder so you can get those guys in the rest of your squad, right?
I agree with you. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's move on to the next section.
All right. We talked about this predicted doubles and blanks, right?
Yeah, just like
Anything?
a quick summary. Basically, we have the projected double game week that's likely going to go into game week 25 now. Let's say 75% likely to go into 25. There is going to be the blank in 29, which is because of the final from the EFL Cup. That double will go into game week 33. There's also going to be a blank in game week 34 because of the FA Cup semifinals, and that double will go into game week 36. So just something to really keep in mind. Also, you mentioned something earlier about the AM chip. So if you go back to the fixtures, I think if we had like the Liverpool fixtures, as I think a lot of people are going to be considering using the AM chip on Liverpool in that game week 24, 25 double game week. But the thing is that the game week 24 double, or sorry, the game week 24 fixture for Liverpool is just Bournemouth away. That's like the single week that you're bringing it in. The double game week goes into 25, but then the week after that, it's actually Man City. So it's not really that great, especially because Liverpool are at the top of the league. So you don't really get any bonus of playing against somebody like Man City where they're 5.5 spots ahead. So I just don't know if the AM chip is as valuable in that first Liverpool double game week. I think it's really well suited to a triple captain now. Or if the double goes into 25, you're getting Wolves at home. And it's a home fixture at Anfield. You'd always back Liverpool to score goals, and then the Everton fixture was just going to be like more defensive. But you have 2 games for Salah, and he's averaging 10 points a match. That's just my early thoughts on that.
I mean, you could go a slot, for example, for the double, and then you could take maybe a punt on, I don't know, a Amarim or someone like that in 26. Actually, well, they don't have the fixtures actually, but like you could go, I don't know, maybe like Arteta for West Ham at home
Mhm.
versus yeah, like you just you have to invest transfers for the AM chip. I gotta
Yeah,
think about it more, but
yeah.
ideally,
Because
I
like
would want
now
it to
it's
be
not as
24.
easy. It's generally not as easy now because
Yeah,
like
it's not. Yeah,
even if you go to Arteta, you don't want it for Nottingham Forest in 27. That's
no,
the
I
thing.
don't. Yeah,
So
it's
that's the thing.
difficult.
It's just I think it devalues the AM chip in this double. You might need to use another chip maybe, or just save your AM for later.
There is no that is
Yeah.
difficult though for using for later of a double, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, all right. Can we just quickly touch on captaincy? I think
Yeah,
that's a
sure.
really easy section this week, but do you guys have any options you're considering, or we're just all on Salah for Leicester at home?
It's Salah, bro.
Hello, bro.
It's just
I've
Salah,
got
dude.
something in my eye, man. It's winding me up. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just Salah,
It's
bro.
okay, bro. Don't worry. All good. I did consider Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm not gonna lie, but if I had a good rank, like if I was up where you guys are in like top 100K, I'd be captaining Trent. I think Trent starts
Yeah,
on 6 points this week. I
you would
think he
have
has
to.
the
You would
ability.
have to. Yeah, you'd have to kidnap my family, put me at gunpoint, and then
That's
even then
crazy, bro.
even then
I
I'll
mean,
probably debate whether to captain Trent over Salah or not.
Bro
yeah.
really
The
said
thing
if I
is
was
that
in
like
your rank, I'd captain Trent.
no, honestly,
You're
like
trying to set
the
us
reason
up,
is
Stug. Nah, Kanji, you're trying to set us
no.
up, bro.
I'm not even
Nah,
trying.
bro,
I'm not trying to
Kanji,
trap you
nah.
guys at all. I'm not at all.
Nah,
I just
Kanji, you're
I'm
trying to
honest.
get
Like
it.
if
Bro,
I
you're trying to pull a
no
quick
like
one, didn't you? Ah, I
no.
see how
Honestly,
you're moving, Kanji.
no. I'm
Oh,
honest. I'm honest.
God.
If I was top 100K, I would take the punt on Trent. But
Brother,
I know myself so well. I literally know myself so well that I put myself in a position with double Liverpool defense where I can't captain Trent. So my mind is already set. Like I have to captain Salah. But this is probably gonna be the last week you'll ever be able to captain Trent. This is gonna be his last season. It's his last like home fixture against a very easy team. Leicester haven't scored a goal in 2 games, so it's a clean sheet that's locked. He's definitely gonna get an attacking return. So you're probably looking at least 10 points. So
clean shit that's
I'd love
locked.
a Trent captain. I just don't have the guts at this
Yo,
moment.
I just want to quickly say in the chat, IBK said world number one has Bruno. The world number one last week didn't own Salah, so that's irrelevant. What you just said is irrelevant. What the world number one has is relevant to like what the best moves are.
Yes, I don't follow. This is what I'm saying. You can't follow a particular person just because, for example, one of our friends, good friends, Emil, for example, I speak to him all the time. He has just done like 4 free transfers and he bought in Haaland. Now, that's that's him. Whether that's necessarily the best move or not, time will tell. Like, for example, right now we wouldn't advise that. For example, I'm against that. I don't think he's worth the value and the sacrifice that you're making. Now, just because someone's at that rank doesn't automatically mean they're always right or their decisions are always correct. So, yeah.
I can give
Yeah,
an
I
example.
agree. I agree.
I can give the best example. I was 15K in game week 7, no game week 8, and I brought Haaland in, and I dropped to 400K.
Exactly. Just because your rank is high doesn't mean you're always going to be right, bro. I was
Exactly.
I was 2K in the world and I kept Haaland and I kept captaining him, thinking he's going to bang. And what happened to me? I fell to world 54K. Now I'm still climbing back up. So,
All
listen,
good. All good. I think we're all on the same page. Like, I think Salah's EO is going to be around like 180%, 190%. You'd assume.
There's
so
only one crazy thought I've had, and the one crazy thought I had was captaining Jesus.
fucking hell, bro. I might have to just bring him in just because you said that, bro. You're crazy, bro. I think Cunha replacement. I mean, we can touch on it quickly. Would you sell him this week? If you still had him?
If he's not banned, probably not.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just
United.
I
that,
think like Wood's fixtures just like rotate so well at this moment in time. Like it's just such a good entry point in Spurs, who are just so poor defensively, that I think you might as well just move to him.
yeah. What Jesus is all. I'm so tempted, man. I'm gonna be. Oh, I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be. Oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. This dilemmas, man. Every week these dilemmas. Anyways, so yeah, basically, if you, I think it's worth the upside if you have the free transfers to go to Isak if you don't own them. If you don't have the likes of Chris Wood, if you want to move there, there is a good entry point. I think United are quite decent defensively. I think I like to say that we're quite solid defensively. So yeah, I mean I've sold him personally. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Um,
sense, bro.
should we touch on this João Pedro bum who plays
Oh man,
right
you got
back?
it, bro. You got it.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know, João Pedro is not a footballer. I've already said this on multiple occasions. I think he's interested in a different career path. I think he wants to do modeling. He's interested in Hollywood career. So I think I'm currently in the process of finding him an agent, so that I can sign him up and then he could do maybe a couple of trials, you know, and see if we can get him to do a movie, because currently he's doing photo shoots on a football pitch, and that is not the reason why we brought him in our team. We wanted him to get some goals and some assists, but he's clearly not interested in that. So if you have him, whatever it takes, -8, -12, you take him out of your team. Whatever it takes. He's a cancer in your team. He's another DCO 2.0. He has to go. And he also forged his Brazilian passport, by the way. I don't think he's real Brazilian. I think he's fake. So we're gonna have to double check his passport
Yo,
too.
you guys are hating on JP so much. A
Yeah.
lot of people think John Pedro's a meme, bro. He gets points when you don't own him, and when you sell him, he gets points. So I'm hoping a lot of people will just sell him, so the points will eventually come my way. That's what I'm hoping for.
Kanji, all the best to you, bro. He's gone from my team this week, bro.
I
Yeah, it
think
makes
it's
sense. Makes
I
sense.
think it's clear that Welbeck's maybe had a big impact, but that's worrying to me, man. How can Danny Welbeck's impacting Brighton the same way Rodri's impacting Man City? Like it's Danny Welbeck. How is Danny Welbeck impacting João Pedro's output this much? Bit weird.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's no focal point, right? That's the thing. But you have somebody that's like 5.7 or something like that, not playing 90 minutes on all penalties. Like, has
He's only
nothing more
just
to really
playing.
think about, in my
He's
opinion.
only just playing 90 minutes though, man. He's very injury prone. He's very injury prone. Brighton's not looking good right now. His heat map stinks. Like he's blanked how many weeks in a row? Like, bro, this is my thing. If you sell JP this week and he scores next week, I still don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
I
Let him
really don't
score.
care.
Like Semenyo
That's
scored
very
last
fair.
week. I didn't care. Like, yeah, mate, go and score now. Like, I don't care. Like, I've given you enough time to prove yourself. Like, if I
Yeah.
basically keep you in my team, Kanji, I'm gonna start making mistakes by starting him. I'd rather not have that headache.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Basically.
And we have all this extra money from downgrading Saka, right? Where we can upgrade somebody like him into maybe like a Jackson or a Solanke.
So many options,
Oh,
man. So
Yeah,
many
that's the thing.
options.
With Saka out, we don't need you don't need to have Ahmad, Enzo, and JP now. Like Saka's out. Like if you don't own Haaland and Saka's out as well, like there's more opportunities to expand, be more expansive.
I agree, man. Genuinely do. Moving on swiftly to our anything else you want to touch on any defenders?
I think like it's just important to emphasize that with the fixtures coming up and how good Liverpool are defensively, I think it's very important, even if you don't get to Trent, to cover up the Liverpool fixtures. I genuinely think it's really important. I mean,
Bro, I think
you
Trent
have
is
like the if
essential right now, bro. With Saka out, Trent is essential. I don't want to hear it because you need to Liverpool for this fixture run. I'm sorry. Like, and Trent is gonna start. There is no Bradley, no one, and I don't ever say essential, Kanji, do I? But I'm saying it's essential because of this simple fact: the fact that you have all this money. Where else would you invest it if it's not Liverpool attacker? Essentially, Trent is an attacker. It's not just a defender, right? So I
facts,
do
bro.
think it's kind of essential now. To be fair, because you have all the money right now. You can't have an excuse of, oh, I can't afford it. I have the
Yeah.
Saka of Salah Palmer, right?
Yeah, and
You
like
can
there's
afford
not
it.
much to really split the midfielders, right? And there is a lot that splits Trent from the rest. Like his XGI per 90 is just in line with where he was under Klopp, and they're playing as a better defense. So
Yeah,
the underlyings are there, and the defensive underlyings are there as well. Like his attacking underlying and his defensive underlyings are there. And he's a
agreed.
really good pick.
That cross
But
to
not
Diaz,
everybody has him, and I think Stark, you're sitting there without him, right?
was sensational,
Beautiful. I need more of that though, and some clean
bro.
sheets.
But whenever he does it to Jota, like Jota misses.
I
I don't
know.
know. Jota
Yeah.
clearly doesn't own Trent. I want someone to check this. Does Jota own Trent in his team?
Bro, I'm pretty sure he doesn't even play FPL. He's probably playing Foot Champs or something like
No,
that.
Jota plays FPL, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Jota plays FPL.
All right,
Yes,
I'll
he
take a
does.
look.
We're on the. You guys want to touch on any team specifically for penalty XGC or anything of that, or you want to just move to PFC? PFC.
I just want to quickly talk with two assets because I think they're quite popular and people are going to pick one or the other. And it's Murphy from Newcastle and Ismail Sarr. Like I think you either go one or the other, and my preference would be for Sarr. I think he's pretty nailed. His attacking threats there. Palace fixtures are good, and I don't like the double up on Newcastle. So I don't blame. I know some people are going to go for Sarr as a Saka replacement.
Okay.
So
yeah. Also, what you do is you can't get Mateta later on if you do like him and he starts to pop off, right? And they do have a good run of fixtures because you don't want to double up on Palace attack, do you? So slightly you might be worried about that. At the same time, I do think though he's a good option considering their fixture run. The entry point might not be this week considering Bournemouth is a pretty good defense, but I do think after that they do have good run of fixtures. So yeah,
I'd probably have Sarr as the best budget enabler. Probably the best
Yeah, it
one.
makes sense. Bro, there was one question I wanted to ask you, Stark. It was about Chelsea. I watched the game against Everton. I knew that Everton were going to sit deep. But what I noticed is that Enzo was playing in this deeper role. And I was thinking to myself, like, this isn't the Enzo that I was like looking at the last couple of weeks. Just like, what are your thoughts on like, was there a formation change or like what's going on with him?
So Gusto was playing in the left 8, which obviously had Enzo a bit deeper. Not ideal, but Enzo was still he still had 2 shots. Like he was still arriving on the edge. He just wasn't as advanced. But ultimately, Everton, bro, Sean Dyche, 5 clean sheets in 6 games. The man, his name is written all over the AM chip for me. Like I think, he's a giant killer in the league. So, like he just got back-to-back 0-0 versus Arsenal and Chelsea. Listen, Cucurella was out and Gusto was deployed more advanced. I think let's wait and see.
I don't like the way you guys attacked though. I felt like there was opportunities in that game. I felt like your attack wasn't as explosive as normally it is. I don't know why. I feel like you guys create billion chances normally in a game. There weren't
It's
that
hard.
many chances.
It's hard to create versus Everton, though. It really is.
Yeah, but they weren't really parking the double-decker bus though. I was watching that game like a hawk, like like they weren't parking the bus like how they did versus Arsenal. Like they were a bit more, I guess, free. They were a bit more willing to go out there, to create some chances on the counter or whatnot. Like you have
I don't
them.
think it's a case of being more willing. I think it's a case of being able to penetrate us way easier on the transition as opposed to Arsenal. Arsenal are much better than us at preventing counter attacks. So it might seem like they're more willing. I just think it's a case of it's just easier to do it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just thought I was disappointed, to be fair, as a owner, not just of FPL, but I predicted that game too. Chelsea to score. I was shocked, flabbergasted the fact that Chelsea didn't get anything. I mean, thanks to obviously Jackson missing 2 sitters. Of course, I can't go without mentioning that. On the budget, though, I know we talked about them to the death. I still do think though Ahmad is one. Ahmad and Rogers are close, like 1 and 2 for me. Long term, if Ahmad continues to play 10. And Sarr, I guess I gotta watch more to understand. He's the new guy on the block that I didn't see that I'm slipping on. I might be slipping on him. So if it is him though, I have the money to get him. It's an easy switch for me. Sarr.
Oh,
Ismail Sarr.
He's a streaky player, I think.
Yeah, I know about him, but back in the Watford days. But I know he was quite solid. But I didn't own him then. I don't know if I'll own him now.
I think he moved to Marseille, didn't he? And then Palace signed him from Marseille. So,
don't you think the entry point is next week though? 19, maybe.
They got Bournemouth this week.
Yeah, away.
Listen, I think Palace will definitely get a chance. Like Bournemouth versus Palace is literally the equivalent of like Chelsea versus Tottenham. I think just band for band, like Bournemouth versus Palace, they'll go at each other. They're not gonna. Not one team in that game is gonna just sit back and park the bus. They will go for it.
Wow. Yeah, maybe I should have got Ismail Sarr instead of Ahmed then.
I mean, Ahmad he's really good. Like Ahmad is, especially at his price.
Do you know what,
You're
Kanji, bro?
covering Bruno as well in a way, right? Because
I,
he's
I, I,
like the main threat.
I just couldn't keep watching United and not root for that guy, bro. I couldn't.
That's what I'm saying,
I couldn't,
bro.
bro.
And he's 5.0. Like, how can you
As
cheer
much as
against this guy?
as
He's
much as I'm so
5.0.
pessimistic about my team, I want to be sitting there, like eating the popcorn or eating my food and enjoy the game and not be a hater, bro, and not celebrate the win. And right now he's like 20% on in the game. Like, it's impossible to not say, oh, it hurts when he scores. It will genuinely hurt when he scores. Like,
Yeah, but he's a minute to risk, right? Because you guys have Europa League. But I think it's important if you partner
no,
him
no,
with somebody like
I think we don't have a replacement for him, bro. He's our best player, bro. Literally.
Man.
Like, how you can't, like, it's like Arsenal benching Saka. Like, look what happened to us when we benched him versus Spurs, bro.
Yeah, but I could not believe the coach started. What's that guy's name? Anthony. Couldn't believe it.
Bro, we have guys like Xerxes, though, man. This is what it puts me off about Ahmad as well. This guy's gonna give chances to guy called Hoyland and Xerxes. They're not gonna score, man. I might even prefer Rogers over him. I don't know why I went there, bro. Fuck's sake, bro.
Yeah, you know, like one of the things when
Oh
you look
my
at
god, bro.
Bruno's like
Fuck's
attacking
sake, bro.
data,
I think, boys.
if you
I think Sarri is the best one, bro. I might take what I said back, bro. Because we have bombs in the freaking striker position, bro. These guys can't score to save their life. Like, no matter how good Ahmad is, if he's not finishing himself, I don't know if he's gonna get assists, bro.
And he's still early in his career. Like he's not an elite finisher himself.
Yeah, he's
bro.
not. He's not a
Shit,
proven
bro.
talent. But you do have to say there was a lot of interplay between Bruno and Ahmad together in the last couple games. Like they had like
I hate
2.5 XG and
myself.
scored 0 goals. Like the goals will come. The underlying data is there.
I hate myself. It's whatever,
Yeah.
man.
United perform well at Old Trafford, and I think you've got a lot of home games. So I wouldn't be too worried.
Yeah. But
I'm
there is
already worried.
Garnacho as well on the horizon as well to take some minutes away. So let's see how the situation evolves.
Garnacho taking minutes of Ahmad. How?
Never know, bro.
How though?
I don't know. Maybe Bruno goes into the right 10 and then Garnacho can play on the left 10 behind Hoyland. I don't know. I'm not a Man United
No,
fan, but just
yeah.
an idea.
To be honest, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Should just move on to PFC then.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right.
Let's run it. So the best section of the podcast. This is going to be the PFC section of the pod. Last week it was a pretty. Oh damn! Look at Stark only got 1 point, bro. What happened, man?
That was a stinky PFC for me, to be fair.
The man punted on Jota, and how many minutes did he get? Like maybe 15, 20?
Yeah, like I knew Liverpool would cook Tottenham. I knew it. I'm screaming it from the rooftops, but they just got the wrong man. That's the thing. Listen, this is proof of what the Liverpool boys. Like Jota getting benched. 1 week it'll be Diaz. 1 week it'll be Gakpo. Like the only one nailed is Salah. So, and then the
Bro,
flop
you know there's
Rodgers.
a guy out there that's gonna do like that Owen Jota, and they're gonna take a -4 to switch him to Diaz, and then Diaz gonna be benched and Jota's gonna haul. Like that's what's gonna
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Rodgers flop.
happen.
Damn, we go again.
All good, all good. I'm surprised you took Rodgers, bro. Like because Man City not even that good defensively.
I know. It's just I didn't think Rodgers would. I just didn't think Rodgers would do anything. But
Same.
you're
I didn't
wrong.
know he was that guy. That performance was like this is the first time I've ever considered Rodgers a good pick. Before now, I've never been a believer.
But
But that
we've
was a
had
great
this
performance.
conversation. How many times have we had this conversation where I said to you, Rodgers passes the eye as a footballer, like FPL aside, and you're like, I don't know, he doesn't. He doesn't for me, bro. This guy. Did you not watch the Villa Arsenal game where he was running around Declan Rice like he was toying
No,
with
I
him?
remember, but like you can be a good player and then not be a good FPL pick, you know?
Yeah, man. The way he was walking through that Man City team, the way Yannick Bolasie and Zaha were walking through the Crystal Palace women's team in training, bro, like it was scary.
But anyway, it was a tough week. At least you got solid captaincy, and so did I as well. I flopped on Pedro Porro because I knew, like, Liverpool are going to score a bunch of goals. Like, he's going to be on, like, 0 points. It made sense. My punt was Son. Bro, Spurs scored 3 goals and Son got nothing. I genuinely can't believe that. That's insane. But either way, I'm 2 for 3 there. Kayman, what are your thoughts on PFC from last week?
Well, Timber pick flopped, unfortunately. I didn't expect Palace to score goals versus Arsenal, but it is what it is. We move. But the flop did work out for Guardiola. and Captaincy Salah was a no-brainer, of course. Can't celebrate too much. The punt didn't work out, but it is what it is. We move.
Yeah, I can't even believe people like still hold Vardiol now. I think if you have him, you hold. Same with Rico Lewis, but 0 points is crazy. I wonder if they'll be able to turn it around, especially defensively. Offensively, I'll trust them, but defensively, I don't know, man.
But you can't sell Gvardiol before Everton. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even Chelsea
Yeah,
kept a clean
100%.
sheet versus them.
Yeah.
So
This is the tally right now.
so
Of course,
looking
you
at
two are
the
tied.
at look.
Yeah.
Oh damn, yeah, the overall scores are looking pretty proper, bro. Stark, man, I was in your rearview mirror. Now I'm like right beside you, bro. Let's see what happens next week. Hey man, bro, you're coming back. The deficit's
Slowly,
not that
bro.
big.
Slowly, bro. Slowly.
Slowest steady wins the race, baby. So let's move on to game week 18. I finally get the first pick of the PSC. It's been a minute, and my punt is going to be the guy that I've transferred into my team. It's Martin Odegaard, the captain of Arsenal, playing at home to Ipswich, playing 90 minutes on the penalties. Give me that. Love that as my punt.
Yeah.
My flop is going to be Emil Smith Rowe because he's playing against Chelsea. I don't even think Smith Rowe is going to start the games against the big teams. He's kind of been a little bit off form, and so has Fulham's attack in general. So I'm just fading their attack in a way. And then the captain's on Mo Salah. I really wanted to put Trent here, but I didn't have the guts to do it. But yeah, so Salah cap. Very simple for me.
Yeah.
I
I
think
made a
the next
mistake on
one
the
was going to be
graphics, by the
K-Man,
way.
right?
I think I made a graphics on the mistake on the graphics. I think I went with JP. I put Guardiola there. It should be JP for me.
Makes
Instead of
sense. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, JP is a flop for me. But hey, this is a punt. I think I'm really high on him this week. I think he could get something versus Ipswich. They're without Morsey as well, who is basically a very big, I guess, miss because he does control the midfield quite well. And yeah, I think he's going to be missed. So yeah, sorry, not Guardiola, but João Pedro will be my flop because he's a bum, and Salah is a no-brainer captain. Should we move on?
Yeah, I
Good.
wanted to captain. I mean, I wanted to punt on Jesus, but I was last in picking. So K-Man stole my punt. But I had to go for an Arsenal boy, so I've gone Martinelli. Flop, I'm going Haaland because 5 clean sheets in 6 games. Underlying data is shit for Haaland. Everton, like Brentford and Tarkowski, I imagine they'll make it difficult for him. And you know what? I've got cojones to go against Haaland, the most expensive player in the game. Do you know what I mean? Unlike
That's crazy.
Spurs,
Bro,
unlike,
that's a crazy flop, bro. Holland flop is crazy, bro.
you know what makes me laugh though? I just want to point this out. People brought Haaland in early before his price drop.
Crazy, bro. And they
That's
did it
Bro,
really
to do
it's a bit
what? To
mad,
bring
bro.
it in for Aston Villa or for Everton? Like that's nuts.
Bro,
that's you out there.
yeah.
You fucked up. You could have
All
got him for
right.
0.1 cheaper.
Yeah. Kanji, is your game week 17 team review?
Yeah, so finally, this is another green arrow that makes it 3 in a row. The comeback season is on, baby. So up from I think it was like 2.5 mil. I'm up to 1 point, I'd say 7 mil at this point because I'm taking another hit. So I'm at 1.7 mil now. So that's 800k green arrows so far last 3 weeks. I'm loving it. Got some good positive momentum. Got my triple Arsenal. I'm switching Saka to Odegaard, so still my triple Arsenal. I've got my double Liverpool defense. Hall actually finally returned, so I got the benching decision right between Hall and Gomez this time. So happy Hall got the return. He also got just a random bonus point right at the end of the game week. It just sort of came up randomly, so that helped. Captain Salah. I mean, if you want to get green arrows like continuously, just Captain Mo. You don't have to worry. Palmer's there as well. I've got Ahmad and Enzo in my I'm in my field in my midfield. They're going to rotate. Isak is there as my differential that secured the green arrow over the people that went without him and went with Jackson. Cunha is there. Really nice to get a return. And once again, as soon as he returns, he just gets top bonus. This man is crazy. And JP, he's a fraud. But I'm hoping that he'll eventually get some points. So a very nice score of 94 with the -4 to 90. So solid, especially at my ranked tier. Going into
Yeah.
game week 18. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
for it. Go for it.
Okay, perfect. So going into game week 18, the team is exactly the way that I wanted it to look. Double Liverpool defense, double Arsenal defense. I've got the two best defenses in the game, and I don't really want to touch it for the rest of the season if I can. Then I'm going in with the Arsenal talisman, who I hope it will be in Martin Odegaard, and then it's going to be Cole Palmer, Mo Salah, as well as Alexander Isak. I'm not looking to spend a transfer on any of those assets. Cunha is gone. Chris Wood has come in. I really like the entry point of Spurs. Even if he blanks, no problem. There are really good fixtures on the horizon. João Pedro is still there. Hopefully, he'll finally get his goal, maybe even a penalty to increase their confidence. and Amad Diallo is there to cover Bruno Fernandes. So I think the team looks really good. Do you guys think I should start Enzo because he's at home, or should I persist with Amad
Go on, man.
away?
Go
No,
on, man.
the debate is not between Ahmad. Why is the debate between Ahmad and Enzo? The debate is between João Pedro and Enzo. Come on, you can't. Don't be no. That's
Not
not
for me,
that's
bro.
not. That, be honest here. Be honest here. No, that's not honest. Kanji, you gotta be frank here. Come on, frankly, come on. It's not. If Ahmad has to play, it's Wolves. I understand they got a new manager, and I actually bought him for this fixture myself. So I think he plays regardless, and I'm very adamant on that. It's just between Enzo and João Pedro, and you know how I feel about João Pedro. It's just if Enzo plays 10, by the way, Kanji, I'm sorry, it's not a debate. It's not a
Yeah,
debate.
I'll be crying. I'll be crying.
No,
Yeah.
if he
I think
plays
I
the
have to
10,
wait for like the
yeah, he's not a
the, the
debate.
Lavia news as well as like just sort
Yeah,
of. I'm assuming Cucurella will be back after his suspension.
yeah,
I mean, I think for now it's just the fact that JP just has pens, so that's the reason
yeah,
that he starts, in my opinion.
yeah. But it's just that I don't know, Stark. What do you think? Do you think Enzo will play 10, or it's hard to tell?
Yeah, if Cucurella is back, I think he would. Yeah, because Gusto should I think Mershka's experimented enough with Gusto going in one of the twin tens, or twin eights, and it's just not working.
It's not gonna
It's
work.
just not working, and we've looked so much better with Enzo in that role. He's
Enzo is
just
a
way
10
better in
though.
them.
Enzo is a 10 though. He can play a 10 like naturally, bro. Like, why is he forcing other players to play 10? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That
Honestly, I
was the
don't.
whole appeal. That was the whole appeal of Enzo. Like him playing 10 for Chelsea, one of the best attacks in the league. Like it doesn't get any better than that. I don't need Bruno Fernandes if I have Enzo Fernandez, bro. Like, honest to God. Like, that's the reason why I went earlier. I said, no, let me get this guy in. I don't care knee jerky or not. If this guy's gonna play 10, it's a cheat code. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I mean, for me, JP is gonna start. He's on pen. It's non-negotiable for me. So that's the way my team
fair
looks
enough.
for Game Week 18.
Fair
Happy, it's
enough.
locked in, and I'm content.
I do get the JP. To be fair, people have sold him, punish those who sell him if he gets points. It's game theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Facts, bro. Facts. So you know what
Yeah.
happens when you sell someone in FPL? They actually return. That's what happens.
The,
Classic.
the only thing that the change is gonna be punishing with JP, starting JP is himself, not people.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he finally gets a return because, to be fair, they've got so many injuries to their defense, haven't they? So they might just go gung ho attack and just be like, "Fuck it! Like we've got no defense. Defense doesn't exist. We just need to outscore them."
Yeah. Moving on to Stark's team. Stark, your team for Game 17 team review.
Sorry, 1 second. Small green arrow. Um, should have started Kulusevski over Enzo. That was my debate, or even JP. I should have done it, but I didn't. Kulusevski's the goat, man. Look at this, man. My goodness.
Yeah.
Chris Wood, bro, he should have scored, but he didn't score. But I'm still so happy owning him. He had all these chances come in the box. He doesn't drop CDM to get the ball like JP. This man is in the box, waiting for the ball. Forest looks so good. Forest are in a top 4 battle, man. They're what are they, third or fourth? They're playing so good. They're the first team to beat Brentford at the GTEC.
I know, man. That's
They're
that's
bro.
crazy, bro.
I love the fact people are sleeping on Chris Wood. To be fair, I've
Uh,
seen so many people neglecting him, and I just think I'm
yeah.
so happy. I'm finally on the Chris Wood train, and I'm just happy.
Yeah, I guess I'm one of those people that's gonna be neglecting him, I guess. Um, good week though, Stark. So Isak and Jackson War, you have won. So congrats to both of you guys. I know you both are high on him compared to me. So you deserve that hole. And now he no longer is differential, so you take that and you run with it basically.
Mm, yeah.
Um, moving on to the game week 18 team selection for Stark.
Oh, Ice Spice season, bro. Look at that team, bro.
Oh my goodness, bro. Do you know
Oh,
why I call
Trent
that
is
team, by the
in.
way? Do you know why I call
Trent
that
is
team?
in.
Of course, bro. Do you know why I call that team, Stark?
What?
I call this team differential central, bro.
Mm.
Because you
Yo,
have
what were the
look
moves, bro?
on Stark,
Huh?
you cook Stark. What was the
What were the
moves? What
moves?
moves did
You
you
must
do?
have some spicy moves here, bro.
Yeah, this is a big. I just want to put a disclaimer. WWE, please do not try this at home. I'm not suggesting anyone to do this, but I took a -8.
It might
Okay.
pay off, bro. It actually might pay off.
The reason why I did the basically the big hit was for Trent from Gomez because I had Joe Gomez, but with Saka being out, I no longer can run with Gomez to Kanate. I just thought I'm just gonna get Trent because he's gonna rise so much. It makes sense long term. The fixtures are great, the double game week, and yeah, the money's there. And like, I'll be eventually priced out of it, and I need to get Munoz for Davis next week for Southampton. So, and I've got 0.2 in the bank. Foden for Saka, and I've fucked off JP for Jesus because, like, yeah, it's a hit, but if JP's gonna get 2 points every week, Jesus could just cook, and it's just worth it straight. If Jesus gets like a 10 pointer, the hit's worth it straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Facts, bro. Same with
Jesus
Trent.
is like 2% owned. Kulusevski's like 2% owned. Foden's like 3% owned. So I'm
Your
looking forward to
team is
lots of.
insane. Your team is insane right now, bro. It looks amazing, and I don't want to give you evil eye, but yeah, we're gonna cook, bro. We're gonna cook
Uh,
everybody, bro. I hope Jesus punt works out because I'm looking to go there myself. And I might join you on Foden. I'm not sure yet, or I might go to one of the Liverpool guys, or I might go to an Arsenal boys. I'm not sure yet. I'm not gonna lie. But if I commit to Jesus, it might be Foden in for me as well. So the two moves that you've done, which is Foden and Jesus, they might be my moves. But it's just that Foden is coming in next week for me. So just moving on to, I mean, is there any other thoughts, Kanji, you have?
No, team was great. Yeah, the fact he brought Trent in, it makes me happy.
Yeah, I think the hit will pay off because the hit is for Trent and Jesus, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I think
no
they'll
problem.
100% pay off. I think they'll 100% pay off. And you've
100%.
sold
Yeah, same.
Gomez and you sold a bum called Jao Pedro, right?
exactly, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So the two bums can cut. All right, now moving on to my game week 17 team review. I had a small red arrow. I went from 17k to 23k actually. So it wasn't too bad considering I didn't have Isak, but I did have Cunha though. That did help with his 9 pointer. And obviously the Lewis Hall saving me again with 7 points. That has been such a good transfer. I do want to remind Stock though. Stock, I do remember you were the one that was initially before everyone bought Hall in to mention it to me that he's quite good, and he's been quite slept on. So I got him quite early because I think you must have watched a couple of United Newcastle games and he was quite good. So thanks to you for that pick. I don't know, I probably don't remember, but I think I did take your opinion on that quite seriously and I was more convinced to do that move. And I also had another friend that recommended me, so it does help by discussing this. As I said, Trent, I knew if I was gonna go non-Haaland, I was gonna own Trent, and finally I got a return from him. Kanji, you're saved for one more week that he's got a return. Because you know me, the slander will come after him. So
It's
he's got me.
crazy how he only got 4 points.
I know, right? It's crazy, yeah. So he returned. That's something, right? And I'll take that, right? 4 points. It's Spurs. So and I was expecting definitely for Liverpool to concede. So at least he got me something. And overall,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm happy with the game week, even though it's a small red arrow. But next week,
Bro,
moving.
how the fuck did you
On,
get 79 points without Isak?
that's crazy,
Like,
right?
you don't even have Rogers. You don't even have Isak. Like,
I know.
the math isn't mathing.
I
But
know, bro.
you've edited this. How is that 79 points?
Bro, I don't know, bro.
Nah, Cunha's points are nuts. It's just 7 point swing versus Wood right there alone.
Yeah, true.
I don't know, bro. I was expecting a bigger red arrow considering how much of a wow, Isak completely destroyed me, bro. He completely annihilated me. But the fact that Hole was there, because you have to understand, a lot of Isak owners don't have Hole. They don't. So yeah, that does help. Moving on to game week 18. I'm looking to spice it up, bro. Now, to be honest, I didn't do anything spicy yet. I just template shit.
Shout out Sharik.
Yeah, shout out to Shuri. I just did the template thing, boys. It's Ahmad and Isak in. My main reason for bringing in Ahmad, I just feel like long term is a good option, considering United basically he's our best player. I know Bruno Fernandes is there, but I think he's our best player. He passes the eye test. He also has the numbers. I have my doubts around his finishing, but as long as he can tick along, I'll be happy with that. And I do have one spot that I'm looking to go quite differential with, maybe two spots in Jao Pedro and Mbimo. I think Mbimo's time after Brighton is up. I think he's got Arsenal and then Southampton, but and then he's got City, Liverpool, and quite a tough fixture run. So I'm looking to ship him out. after next week. But JP, my move was supposed to be -4 for Chris Wood. Now that Jesus is on the menu and Saka is out long term, I'm really tempted to get Jesus for that entry point. And that move is not a short term, which is the reason why it put me off. And now that it's like I could have him for maybe 8 to 10 weeks, it's more than justified to use a transfer and capitalize on Arsenal attack. I just don't know if I should back against Chris Wood. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because
I
that's my
mean, bro,
big
I'm not
dilemma.
gonna say anything apart from the fact that the one time you sold Chris Wood, this was the first time we ever streamed together. You were so mad selling him. The very next day when we brought in João Pedro that day, you were the most annoyed I've ever seen you because you sold the guy and you literally went right back to him. I'm
I
surprised of
know.
all the people you're not going there.
No, I want to go there. I just feel like maybe what I should have done, my move shouldn't be. The reason why I didn't bring it, I guess, an Arsenal attacker is because that locks me out of upgrading Mbimo to a Foden, for example. So that's why I went to Ahmad, because that gives me the exact fund to. I mean, that gives me the funds to go to a Son or a Foden, and I wanted to leave that option open. Like I can still get Chris Wood and get Son in. Like,
Mm,
but the thing is, then I'm missing out on Arsenal attack. That's the only downside.
um,
So yeah.
that's tough.
Um, Any thoughts on the team, boys? Like, obviously, Japa is going to be bench. I mean, I'm most likely going to sell him, but I'm not sure again, either Chris Wood or um,
Yo,
Jesus.
you're a JP hater, bro. I'm a JP fan. No wonder we're on the opposite sides of that argument.
It's
What's
another
there to be?
problem.
Wait, can I
Sorry.
just ask though? What is there to be a fan of for João Pedro?
Bro, apart from the last like 3, 4 blanks in a row, he's returned in all the other starts.
I
We're
know,
just
but
waiting
okay,
for a
but
striker to come back, and then he can play
forget
one
that.
twos and score goals.
Forget that though. But what's he ever done in his career to warrant being so like loved the way he is?
Bro, he had 20 goals last year.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But
In
in
all
the
comps, it
Prem.
includes like the FA
Okay.
Cup and the Europa League and all of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but he also played in the Europa League or the Conference League, right?
Yeah, it's Europa
How
League.
many?
Yeah,
Yeah, how many Conference League goals did he get?
I don't even remember. I can double check it, but
Kanji, you
yeah.
have to understand, Jab Pedro is not a footballer, bro. He used to do modeling, bro. He's made for the Hollywood, bro. He's
Nah,
not
he
for
is
Premier
good.
League.
He is
No,
good.
bro.
Like,
I'm
he is
sorry. You
good.
can't convince me this guy's a footballer when he walks around the pitch like he's Messi or something. I'm sorry. You haven't done shit to earn that, mate. You're not Messi. Like pipe down, mate. You play
I
for
I don't like
Brighton.
his I don't like his ego. Like
Yeah,
he does
bro.
stroll around the pitch as if like
Bro,
he's won the World Cup for Brazil.
exactly, bro. You play for
Yeah,
Brighton,
that's
bro.
the
You
thing.
play for a Seagull, bro. You're a mid-table team, bro. You're a bum. I'm sorry. Like straight
Yo.
up, bro.
So do you know how many people would like give up their left nut to play for Brighton in the Premier League?
Bro, I know for a fact that listen, Messi won't give a shit about Brighton. That's all I know, and he ain't Messi, so he needs to stop acting like that.
Yeah, but there's one Messi and there's more like bills from the
Mhm.
boozer and fills from the site than Messi's, bro. There's one Messi.
All I know, he ain't that shit, so he needs to relax with that attitude. Um, so
Facts,
yeah,
bro.
you guys are sitting on the
Facts.
fence, and you don't know which one, Chris Wood or Jesus. Give me an argument for both, boys.
Chris Wood, I'd have to go
Bro.
Chris Wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro, it's not even a conversation. Chris Wood is clear, bro. 90 minutes plus pens. The fixtures are good. Jesus can be rotated. He could be dropped. Like, bro, like
that's the problem.
I'm not a
That's
fan
the
of it at
problem.
all.
That's the problem. It might be
You
Chris
guys,
Wood then.
so many people are going to be against Foden and Jesus, to be honest. So like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't ask anyone, K-man, because it like if you ask someone, what do you think of Foden or Jesus?
No,
Bro,
Foden, I know. Foden, I know. I want to ask people's opinion. Foden. I'm not asking people's
majority
opinion.
of people are going to be against it.
No, I know. Foden people are against it. I know. I'm gonna watch that game and make that decision on my own. However, I'm talking about the Jesus and a Wood dilemma. But I do think Wood is a clear and safe option. He's proven himself. Jesus is just on a purple patch. It's simple as that. So yeah, I'll make my
Yeah,
decision.
it sounds
Hopefully,
good.
there's still some time left for me to decide. So yeah, you guys want to
No
answer any question
stress.
from the chat,
G-
and then
Yeah, there was. So Ricardo had a really interesting question. I wanted to bring it up. Let me pull it up. It was, who are the most important midfielders in the game and who are the guys that will hurt you the most?
right now it's Salah and Palmer, and then maybe Bruno is getting up there, right?
Yeah,
So I think
that's
that's the
exactly what I was
template.
gonna say.
Yeah, that's the template.
Yeah,
Uh,
those will be the three that if you don't own them, you have to cheer against them because they'll be really highly owned. Yeah.
Bro, I think James Madison, he just. How many points has James Madison got?
It feels like he's on like 100. He's been killing it, man.
Ange hates him, man.
The way
And
if he continues to start, he is a sleeper pick and a half.
but he just got subbed
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, but he still scored against Liverpool. Like no one went into that game expecting anything, and he still scored against Liverpool.
I'll
So
be
like,
honest though,
Facts,
with,
bro.
with Spurs, I expect them to score in any game, bro. Like I'm not surprised that Madison or Kulu scored versus Liverpool. I wasn't expecting a clean sheet from Liverpool in that game. If I'm being honest, it's a pipe dream to
Yeah,
expect a
no,
clean
I
sheet
know.
in a Liverpool
Yeah,
Spurs game. Watch Spurs go freaking not be able to score versus Forest or like any of those other teams. Like they'll struggle. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like yeah,
yeah. I mean, Matters is the big game player too. That's the thing. You can trust him
yeah.
to get goals and assists in big games, and he did it against Liverpool. I thought he was going to do it versus Arsenal earlier in the season, but he didn't. Oh, they still lost anyway. But
I
one of
keep
those.
telling everyone, bro. Tottenham have the best attack in the league because of the football they play, and majority of you look at your team and you have no one from Spurs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
it's
now for
crazy.
me the entry point is 23, probably 22, 23. I'm probably gonna get maybe Jackson out for Solanke, maybe. I know it's early thoughts, or maybe I'm gonna get Son for a Foden. That's another move I'm thinking. Straight up switch, you know. So
Yeah, Son is on the cards. Kulusevski's on the cards.
yeah,
Madison, Solanke. I definitely want to bring one in if I can.
A lot
I'm
of the
jealous.
Spurs boys, are rising in price tonight.
well, but let them rise. Let people buy them, and then see what happens in the next few fixtures. I'm not so high on them in the next few fixtures, to be fair.
Exactly. And
Um,
like Nottingham Forest is going to be a low block fixture. I don't really get the entry point this week. I guess people are just trying to spend the
Let
Saka
people buy,
money,
man.
right?
This is good for us, bro. Let people buy. I want people to
yeah.
buy Spurs. Good, buy
Okay.
them.
What you gonna do if Spurs score 3 goals again versus Nottingham Forest?
I'm not
What are you gonna
afraid, bro.
do?
I haven't owned a single Spurs asset the whole season, bro. I have not owned a single Spurs asset the whole season.
But are you not gonna like think to yourself, "Whoa, they just scored 3 past
No,
Forest."
because the fixtures are not there for me, bro. Like,
Bro, if they score 3 past Forest, I'm bringing Solanke or
but
Kulusevski
I'm
in
not
next week.
surprised though. I'm not surprised. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do though. They can. They're that team. They scored 3 versus Liverpool. Why can't they score 3 versus Forest?
No, but
But
that's
I
different.
just
It's
know one
different game
thing.
state, bro.
But I know one thing for sure with that Spurs team, bro. That 3 goals is not going to be from one player. It's going to be from 3 different players, and you're not going to have all 3 different players in your team, bro. It's going to be so spread out. Like for them to
Yeah.
hurt me, one player has to be template. And right now, none of them is template. Solanke isn't template. Kulisevsky is not template. Son is not template. None of them are template. They can't hurt me right now, bro. Not until like their ownership gets to 20%. Then I'm thinking, oh shit, you know?
Yeah, shout out Emil. He's like been so patient with Solanke, and he's like under 5% owned, and I think he consistently reinforces the point that every point Solanke gets is like I think it's worth more than anything Salah gets, for example. Like I mean,
Yeah,
was
because
it
of the
2 weeks
payout.
ago? Solanke got just one assist. He got a 5 pointer, and he gained like a few hundred in his rank, which is a hell of a lot. Like if you're in the top 500 in the world, increasing by like 100 like spots is huge.
Yeah.
That's probably the
Yeah.
equivalent of getting a 100k rank rise in the top 1 mil.
hmm
True.
Yeah. I look at Spurs assets and I'm jealous of anyone that has one and also has like other good players for sure. There was a question in the chat. It was Saka and Cunha to Bruno and Isak, or Saka and JP to Ahmad and Isak.
What's the first option again?
So it was Saka and Cunha to Bruno and Isak, or Saka and JP to Ahmad and Isak.
All I did the Ahmad and Isak move. Well, that I did that to get Foden for Mbimo. Unless you're on that similar trajectory and you need that funds to get another premium, or you need a Trent, for example. You don't have Trent. I like the Ahmad and Isak move. However, if you already have Trent and if you don't want Foden and you are happy to go with a premium of a Bruno, sub premium, then that's fine. Bruno and Isak makes sense. But it just depends on your team, I think. Also, do you already have 2 budget enablers? If you already have 2 budget enablers, I don't recommend a third one. Then you go for Bruno.
Yeah, it makes
Thoughts?
sense. I mean, I would do the one where you get rid of Cunha because I think his time is gone. I would do the Bruno and Isak one. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it, boys. Was there anything else
Yeah.
that you think we
No,
missed?
no, that's fine for me.
I just want to
No.
say
All
one
right,
last thing.
amazing. So this was, I think,
Let me say
we're
one
getting
thing.
into the hang of
Yo,
building
Kanji,
amazing pods.
Let me
start
say
first.
one thing before we leave. Don't
We can't hear you, Stock.
you can't hear me.
No, now I can hear you. Go on.
You're good now. You're good now.
I was just saying, don't make any moves to please anyone. Don't ask people. It's like,
You're cutting out again, Stock.
yeah, just
Yeah.
ignore me. Don't worry, I'm waffling anyway.
Yeah.
Just go.
No worries, no worries, no worries. I think he's just trying to say to play your own game. I'm sure he'll say it at the beginning of the next pod for sure.
Yeah, play your own
But yeah,
game, bro.
once again, it was amazing bonding with you guys. I think we're on what episode 12. So we've been cooking. We're 12 episodes in. We've improved so much since we started. So if you guys have any feedback in the chat, just let us know on how we can improve. We're always open to that. And thank you so much for all your support. We appreciate all the likes and the comments in the chat, as well as if you haven't subscribed, might as well. So thank you so much for all your support.
Yeah, thank you so much, and all the best to you guys, and have fun. All right, guys, this is the time to have fun. Like, go take punts, do all the wild stuff right now. It's free for all. So, and it's Christmas, so enjoy your holidays. And yeah, peace out, boys.